let's get going, and let's get going with our daily, or I guess weekly dosage of Marvel, because it seems like, I mean, what if notwithstanding, that there is something to talk about every week with Marvel. So let's get into it with none other than the Hawkeye trailer. The Hawkeye trailer has dropped, seemingly confirming, this is a little bit tangential, but seemingly confirming that Miss Marvel is going to be pushed to 2022, which is not surprising to anybody, by the way. Like, I think just with the delays and everything that was going on, I don't think there was any doubt in anybody's mind that Miss Marvel was not going to be able to make it in 2021. It was just too much, I think, for Marvel. I think Hawkeye, based on the trailer, without getting too ahead of myself, looks like a perfect end of the year kind of a show, And I really wasn't expecting that, but it looks fantastic. And so we'll talk about the trailer in just a second. But I just wanted to say that I think we've finally rounded out our 2021 MCU schedule. And I mean, again, Eternals, I believe, will still hit its release date. I think that it's too close to kind of begin to move it again. I think the promotional campaign will begin to pick up, and they're just going to have to release it on November 11th. I believe, or November 3rd. I forget what the exact date was. But, yeah, and I think that, Shang-Chi was encouraging for Marvel. I think that, it was able to do really well. And I think that the quality of the film really lended to its word of mouth. And I think that the Eternals is going to do the same. Like I've been saying time and time again, the Eternals looks like, to me, it could be an easy top 5 MCU movie. It looks different. It just looks like it's going to be a home run for Marvel. So I think that we got the Eternals coming up. Obviously, What If's going to finish out, and then we got Hawkeye, and then Spider-Man No Way Home, and that's going to be 2021, guys. Anyways, all of that aside, let's talk about the actual trailer. So, we had heard rumors that it was going to take place around Christmas time, which you can get into the whole debate about what makes a Christmas movie and all that sort of stuff. I won't get into it really here, but anyways, Iron Man 3 was basically the only other MCU movie that really took place at Christmas time, and that really didn't reference Christmas at all. So it came to me as a pleasant surprise that actually this entire trailer was Christmas oriented. And I think that's perfect. Honestly, what Marvel hasn't done and hasn't been able to do is really just give, a Christmas story into the MCU. And I love that. I think that'll give Hawkeye actually immense rewatchability value. Like, you can come back every Christmas and be like, oh yeah, it's Hawkeye. That's the Christmas story. But I mean, for me, this is just me personally. I'm one of those maniacs who, puts on Christmas music way too early, like in November. And I love the Christmas season. It just brings me so much happiness. So, I mean, you had me there already, right? With the Hawkeye trailer. I love it's the most wonderful time of the year. It was just such a fun vibe to the trailer. Now, not a lot of people, a couple people that I've seen online have been saying that this trailer kind of looks dumb and it looks bad. And it looks kind of like knockoff Marvel, knockoff MCU, kind of like boring, cliche, all that sort of stuff. And to that I say, I mean, it doesn't look the most inventive. It doesn't look like WandaVision or Loki, per se, in the trailers. It doesn't look like Shang-Chi with the action. It looks like what a lot of people have been saying is like Die Hard with the MCU. And honestly, I mean, I understand if people don't find the trailer that appealing in that regard, but I, for one, thought it was charming. I thought it was great. I thought it was lovely. And so we'll kind of talk about it. We'll go through it and kind of talk about the important parts of what the trailer had to offer. But overall, I just thought the trailer was lovely. That's one of the words I'm going to use to describe it. It's just heartwarming in a different kind of a sense. Like, just, buddy cop. Looks like it's going to have some like Christmas feels, Christmas vibes, and that's really a different angle from the MCU. It's like Die Hard, basically. And that's awesome. So, obviously the trailer is opening with Clint Barton and his family, and a lot of people have been mentioning the absence of his wife. I think it's just she's not there for whatever reason in the shots they picked for the trailer. I'm sure Linda Cardellini will at least pop up for a cameo. I don't have any doubt for that. She showed up for Endgame for like 3 scenes, so she's gonna show up for Hawkeye, I'm pretty sure. And then what's interesting is that Kate Bishop is now marauding as Ronin in the Ronin costume, which is interesting because I don't know why anybody would want to take up that persona per se. I'm sure, obviously that's gonna get explained in the show, But I mean, Ronan did some terrible things in the interim in the 5-year period. So whatever reason she has for masquerading around as Ronan is going to be an interesting plot point for sure. Also, I forgot to mention, obviously, Rogers the Musical, fantastic. I don't think I need to say anything else about that. It looks fantastic. But anyways, and then we meet, we obviously get the meeting of Kate Bishop and Clint Barton. And, like, say what you will about the MCU, because they are blatantly passing the torch on to different characters. Like, they're not even trying at this point. With Yelena Belova and Natasha Romanoff, with Clint Barton, Kate Bishop, I think with Jennifer Walters and Bruce Banner, like Thor and the Mighty Thor and Cap and Falcon, like they're blatantly passing on the mantles to different characters. But say what you will, they get good actors to fill in the roles for them. I thought Yelena was probably one of the best parts of Black Widow. I think Kate Bishop looks great in the role, and obviously I think Young Avengers is probably in the works. It seems clear you have Yelena, you have Kate, probably Wiccan and Speed. I don't think young Loki's there. I don't know how you get the young Loki to be in the Avengers. You have Stature. It's all coming together. Obviously America Chavez as well. So yeah, but I just think that the chemistry between Barton and Bishop and Reiner and Haley Steinfeld, who looks great in the trailer, if not a little bit too quippy comedic maybe, but that's probably because of the trailer. Because I know that she has a pretty dark backstory in the comic books, if not mistaken. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but she's not exactly I think we'll get a lot more backstory from Kate Bishop as we go along in the show. So I'm not terribly worried about her being too overbearing as a side character and then a lead character. We move on in the trailer, Hawkeye staying in New York City. It looks wonderful. It looks Christmassy. We have these gang members coming after them. Excuse me. We see shots of Vera Farmiga as well. We see, I think, one shot. We see a shot of Rogers the Musical, Lucky the Pizza Dog, and then just some hijinks, And yeah, I think I love everything about this trailer, to be honest, except for just one thing. And that would be the last shot of the main trailer. Like, there's one quick shot where Hawkeye goes, this is some Christmas, and then he turns away. I think that's cute. I like that. But the one thing I don't like about this trailer, honestly, is that last shot before the title card. For whatever reason, that slow motion just doesn't do it for me. I guess another little minor thing is Kate Bishop's line of, like, you have more dangerous arrows than that. Like, it came out a little bit too. It reminded me a little bit too much of Joss Whedon's quips in Avengers films, and maybe not in a good way. And the last shot, for whatever reason, that slow motion, it just doesn't feel. It just didn't look that well done. For whatever reason, it came off as very cartoony and cheesy. So I don't know if anybody else thought about that as well, if anyone else thought that, but other than that, like, the trailer looks fantastic. I think that for what it's worth, the MCU shows need to be different from each other, because I'm not going to really cover it this morning, because we've talked about this over and over and over with other directors, but Denis Villeneuve just came out and said MC movies are the same. I get. Again, I'm not going to go into this because we've seen this from Scorsese and we've seen this from all these other directors. So, but you can see at least where that sentiment would come from. But if you really look at shows like WandaVision, shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, shows like Loki, shows like What If, and shows now like Hawkeye, you have to make them different. And I think Miss Marvel's going to be a different show. It's going to be like a teen coming of age, sort of, maybe even a sitcom. And I think She-Hulk is going to be a literal sitcom. Moon Knight is going to be like a psychological thriller. So you have to make these things different. And I think Hawkeye being a Christmas diehard buddy cop show, it's going to be great. I think it's going to be fantastic. Those people who say it looks really cheesy and looks dull and looks unoriginal, I think that you just got to give it a chance, But again, if you think that way, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. I was just one of those people who happened to really love the trailer for Hawkeye, and I can't wait. We didn't get to see any Yelena, but we're going to get to see some Yelena in the show, and that's it's always exciting. So those are my quick thoughts on the Hawkeye trailer.